Yo, where's the plan? Devon got back and wait, it's a real long time since I make a video. Let me see if I can still do this. So, today makes it actually almost 6 months after using the iPhone 10 as my daily driver. Every single day, I didn't switch to any other phone since I put my SIM in the iPhone 10. So actually, 11 days from now will make it exactly 6 months. So it's pretty much 6 months more or less. And we'll see how it hold up. We'll see how I like it, how I enjoy it, if it's worth the money. Basically, if 6 months later, if you should go buy an iPhone 10. So first of all, we start with the build quality. And well, the build quality and the body and everything. To me, this is the perfect size of a phone for me. I know a lot of people say if it had like an iPhone 10 Plus next year, they'd prefer that size. But this to me is the perfect size because it's like almost the size of an iPhone 8 or 7. And you have a screen bigger than the iPhone 7 Plus and 8 Plus in this little body, which is kind of amazing that you have a phone that you could use one-handed with a screen that big, that real estate. That's cool. I love that. Build quality, as for how it hold up, I have a slick wraps matrix skin on mine, so you probably can't tell. Originally it's glass on the front and back because Apple probably sitting in a meeting, the people at Apple, and I was like, you know what, one screen on the front is not good enough to break, let me add glass at the back too, so now they have two things to break. So whoever thought that was a good idea, I don't know. But the positive of having a glass back is that we actually now have wireless charging on the iPhone 10, which is very, 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 very convenient, coming from somebody like me who used to be like a die-hard Android user. Android used to hate Apple and used to always blast Apple for not having wireless charging. Now they have wireless charging, which is why competition is good. Now, it's just game. I just jump into the point that the notch is not a feature. I was not going to say that because the iPhone copy wireless charging from everybody else. Now iPhone users have wireless charging. But please, Android manufacturers, please don't copy the notch. It's not a feature. Anyway, so that's the build quality. Feel in hand is perfect. Well, for me, my size of hands, I don't know how you could compare that. But the biggest thing about the iPhone 10 is that it finally feels like fresh. It finally feels like a new modern device. So most of the time, iPhone would just be a rectangular body with a rectangular screen inside with a home button on the front. This is the first iPhone that deviates from that design language. So you have like the same rounded body and everything, but screen all the way on the front, no home button, screen wraps all the way around. It looks amazing. It feels amazing if you ignore the notch a little bit. We'll get to the notch a little bit later. But this is the first iPhone that actually fresh, modern, have something new, have a learning curve to it. And to be honest, it took me like 2 days or 3 days to get accustomed to the new gestures as compared to the normal previous iOS form of navigation. So now when I'm using an iPhone 8 or iPhone 8 Plus or any iPhone or any other phone for that matter, I find myself swiping up from the bottom. I feel like, yo, no, Devon, you don't swipe up from the bottom. You actually click the home button because that's what the home button is for. But yeah, that's to tell you how intuitive and how natural the gestures on the iPhone 10 feel that you start thinking that that's the normal way to operate a phone. So the display is one of the first AMOLED displays on a phone from Apple. The previous AMOLED display from Apple was on the Apple Watch. And we all know when Apple do something, they kind of try to do it the best as possible. So the screen is amazing. It's not too cartoonish, it's not too colorful like Samsung AMOLED displays. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I actually love Samsung displays for media consumption. And yes, I know it's actually Samsung that manufactures these iPhone 10 displays. But in terms of calibration and just having a balanced AMOLED display, I think it's a real nice viewing experience on the iPhone 10. 3D Touch still there. I don't really use it for much except the best use for 3D Touch in the whole world. When you actually type in something, I need to move the cursor or highlight or something, that's where 3D Touch is like a godsend for me. That's pretty much the only thing I still use 3D Touch for if I actually think about it. So now it's time to talk about the infamous notch. It's either you hate it or you don't really mind it. I don't think anybody like the notch. It's either you just plain outright hate the notch or you just don't mind it. Me, I fall kind of in between. I don't really notice the notch at all when I use normal apps, using the phone in portrait mode, scrolling through everything. I don't notice the notch at all. Like, it's pretty much invisible to me. Basically, when I jump into YouTube, when I try watching a video, and it filled the entire screen except for that little notch piece, like, yeah, my OCD does just drive me crazy. I actually always end up zooming out and watching the video in the normal square mode, which is actually kind of equivalent to watching it on an iPhone 8. So it kind of makes no sense that you do that on a screen as big as the iPhone 10. But I guess if your OCD don't bother you, you could go ahead and watch it full screen. But I just can't do it. They removed the home button, which means there's no Touch ID anymore. So they had to have some way to authenticate, some form of security, which is now Face ID, which we'll get to a bit later as well. Face ID, the front camera and the earpiece are all housed in this notch. And that's the reason we have the notch, as they would have to find some other way. The notch is basically a wall that we have hit in tech right now, meaning that we can't have like a magic earpiece that don't need to be existing on the phone or some kind of thing like that. I know it have other solutions out there, but basically it's a wall that we hit in technology right now. That's why I get so worked up when I see other people copying the notch too. Like, please don't, and I see the newest version of Android embracing the notch. Please don't encourage manufacturers to do this. I hate the notch. Please stop it. But yeah, we have Face ID to replace Touch ID, and I actually have mixed feelings towards Face ID. On one hand, it's extremely convenient, extremely simple, and it's 98% of the time it works perfectly. You just look at your phone, it unlocks, you don't need to touch anything, you don't need to fiddle with anything, just look at the phone. I also love the fact that your notifications could be blocked, and once you look at it, then the actual details come up, so if somebody pick up your phone, they can't really see your business. So that's all the good parts about Touch ID. On the other hand now, when it does fail, it's extremely inconvenient and just tedious because you have to lock the phone and unlock it back or type in your passcode, whereas with Touch ID, if it failed the first time, you just raise your finger and rest it back on Touch ID. So, yeah. But another negative thing about the notch is the fact that I used to love having my battery percentage on the status bar with my iPhone 7 Plus. With the iPhone 10, it's not possible because of the way iOS works around that notch. You just have the battery icon and you can't turn on percentage because it don't really have much space for that. Although hoping with iOS 12, somebody catch up apps on Apple and be like, yo, you know what, we could put the battery percentage inside the battery icon, because I don't know why it's so hard to figure out, but Android phones doing that for the longest while. Please do it on iOS 12. Please, Apple, anybody at Apple, just please. Software-wise, like I say, in terms of the gesture navigation, I get accustomed to it in like 2 to 3 days. Now I try to do the same gestures on all other phones. And for anybody who was wondering how you actually do reachability, now you just have to enable it in accessibility settings, and you just swipe down on the actual line that you swipe up to go home, and everything would come down to the bottom half of the screen, the same way it would if you double touch the home button on any previous Apple device. Siri, still trash, absolute trash, but she actually works where it counts. So for example, I'm going to sleep, I plug my phone into charge already, I just lie down and then I remember, shucks, I didn't set my alarm. I could just be like, hey Siri, set an alarm for 10 p.m.
Okay, I set an alarm for 10 p.m.
Cool, never have to touch your phone or anything. It's kind of cool. If I drive in, I just be like, hey Siri, call Elise Lay GF on speaker.
Calling Elise Lay GF on speaker.
I just call my girlfriend on speaker. Make my life easy. I don't have to study about fiddling with the phone while I drive and everything. And because of where my dock in my car is actually situated, Face ID actually faces, the phone actually faces me perfectly, so that Face ID just recognizes me and unlocks all the time, which is very convenient. Camera-wise, we all know the latest and greatest from Apple must have an epic camera. Photo quality is on par with the top cameras in the food chain right now, in my opinion. The dynamic range is amazing as usual with any iPhone. HDR is not as aggressive as you think it would be, but it's just good enough to get all the details in the highlights and the shadows, so that it would result in a very balanced and nice looking photo with no details lost or clipped or anything like that. Contrast on point, colors on point, not too oversaturated, everything just looks natural. If you look through my Instagram at Devon which you should follow me on, by the way, everything from there is mostly taken with the iPhone 10 as of recently, so you can get like a feel of how the quality of photos look. But yeah, I'm 100% pleased with the camera, and if you buy an iPhone 10, the camera is definitely one arena you would not be disappointed in. Another huge thing to consider is continuity. So if you have a Mac, if you have an iPad, and you have an iPhone, you get to experience that ecosystem. You're doing something on your computer, you leave your computer, just continue on your phone. You leave your phone inside, you're using your computer outside, you get a call, answer the call or the message on your computer, take the call or message. It just blends in. The ecosystem is amazing. I think that's the biggest selling point of any Apple device, the ecosystem. So that's something to keep in mind if you're considering switching from Android to iOS, or if you should upgrade to the iPhone 10 or go for something like the S9 or the Pixel 2 XL. Continuity and the Apple ecosystem is definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my thoughts on the iPhone 10 after using it for 6 months. Whether you should get it or not right now, if budget is not a problem and you want the latest and greatest, the iPhone 10 is the latest and greatest. However, keep in mind the next set of iPhones right around the corner, so you could hold on for that if you want. But whether it's worth the price or not, to me, I think it's all subjective. I personally think it's worth the price, $1,000, because there are a lot of Android phones for $1,000 as well. The Pixel 2 XL, the Note 8, and people buy those. Of course, they prefer Android over iOS. And you could argue the fact that Android have much more functionality than iOS. You could do much more things with an Android device. But having the latest and greatest from most of the smartphone companies right now kind of means around the $800 to $1,000 price range. So you can't really fight the iPhone 10 for being $1,000. Pixel 2 XL is almost the same price. The Galaxy Note 8 is almost the same price. So it's just what you want, is up to you, is your personal preference. So I hope my thoughts, my opinions kind of help you decide if it's a good idea for you to get the iPhone 10. Or if you have an iPhone 10 right now, let me know your experience with it in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you already next time, hopefully soon.